Yeah, sure. Okay, so started out for me at Warren Point Golf Club. I took up the game when I was about 9 or 10. Started getting golf lessons there, and took part in junior activity at Warren Point. We had a great pro at the time there, Don Patterson, who became my sort of coach and mentor over the next 10 or 15 years. And yeah, no, so that's really where it all started for me, and just gradually got into it, got better, got won a few events locally at the golf club, and then went out and started to play in some provincial events, Ulster based events, and then kind of went out and started take part in sort of national events as well, traveling all over Ireland, and really at that point. Had a great career as an amateur player. Won 2 Irish championships, and travelled extensively with Irish teams. Playing all over the world. And then as a professional, once I turned professional, I did my PGA training at Royal County Down Golf Club in Newcastle. Spent 4 years there, 2 years in Dublin after that, coaching and working with the national teams as well, coaching the Ulster teams. And then I started here autumn 1999 at Royal Portrush. So I've been here 25 plus years now at this stage. So that's how it sort of came to be. And this is one of my favourite golf courses. Played a lot of amateur golf here over the years. And so yeah, I'm very, very proud club professional, head professional here at Royal Portrush, and it's been an exciting 20 odd years, with the Open coming back and Irish Open, and lots of major events here at the club. Okay, so I think, well, first of all, the setting is it's a very scenic. The North Antrim coast is a very scenic part of the country anyway, and the location of the golf course is fairly unique. It's a seaside links golf course, so it's you've got golf courses that are by the sea, which is pretty much where the game originated. And then you've got sort of inland parkland golf courses, which are surrounded by trees and different sort of terrain. I suppose the benefit of links golf course is that it's sand based, so it's on land that has been reclaimed, if you like, from the sea, and it lends itself to golf because the ball bounces on the firmer ground. It drains naturally, when it rains as well, so we don't encounter the issues and the problems that guys on parkland golf courses encounter, particularly in the winter time when it gets muddy and wet and the courses have to close and so on. Well, I mean, first of all, it was a great success in 2019 when it came through here. The event brings it brings an awful lot of money into this area. The financial benefit is something like £100 million into the local economy. And that's a big deal. A lot of businesses benefit from that, and there's jobs obviously then whenever people are jobs available to local people during the championship as well. I am looking forward to it. Obviously, it's great to be involved in it. And the Open was played in Royal Portrush once before in 1951. So there was a 68-year gap between 1951 and 2019. not such a big gap this time, just a few years. So it kind of gives you an idea of how well everything went. That the R&A, the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St Andrews, who run the event, they felt that this would make another. There'd be another great championship venue, quite soon after the last one. So, and I think that for me personally, there's going to be quite a bit of facilitating lots of different things really during the week of the Open. I'll be involved in hosting a lot of people here at the golf club. We'll be doing a lot of media work as well, a lot of interviews like we're doing here, with not just the TV companies and the press, but your content creators and your influencers and all the people who do that sort of stuff as well. So there's quite a lot of that goes on. Just going by what happened in 2019.
Okay, in terms of how I've ended up in this fortunate position of chairing the committee, I've played golf all my life at various levels, and I was fortunate enough to be captain here in 2020 and 21 whenever the R&A approached the club to see if we would rehost the Open in 2025. So I was involved in helping negotiate that whole contract of the R&A coming back. So it sort of made sense that I continued on then and undertook the chairman of the championship committee role. And the objective of the committee is, or the remit of the committee is to work with the R&A to deliver the Open in 2025. So I have a committee of 10 people, and we work on different elements of pulling the Open together. In terms of what do we get involved in, so we're involved in everything from working with the R&A over the the infrastructure that goes on the ground. So from the hospitality to the grandstands, we're also involved in the whole ticketing process, both for our members and with the public, and then just making sure that all the various elements that are required to be brought together to host an event of over 250,000 of spectators that are going to be here for the week of the Open run smoothly. So it's a fairly broad-ranging brief, but it's one that is fairly intense and it's probably taking up 3 days a week of my time from about the last 3 or 4 months until probably it'll grow in intensity as we get closer to the Open in July of next year. Well, any answer I'm going to give you is very biased because I just love this place. I think this is the most magnificent golf course in the world. And why do I say that? Well, it's set on the beautiful Causeway Coast, which is the most stunning scenery to begin with. From a golfer's perspective, it's a very fair course. So you can see where you're going at all. All shots are in front of you. You've no blind shots. So you've it all laid out. It's very much a driver's course. So if you're a good driver of the golf ball, it's a course that you can handle. It's not tricked up like a lot of golf courses. So when you add all those things together, set in the beautiful dunelands of the Dunluce and Valley course, all those ingredients make it not only a spectacular course, very fair course, but a very challenging one. Because you've got all the elements that hit you as well. You've wind, you've rain, you've got the fact that in the summertime it becomes very fast and hard running, so you get a lot of bounce and run. And then, in our climate, to be able to play a golf course 365 days a year because it's set on very well-drained links land is just a real bonus. So a number of ingredients, to my mind, make it a brilliant golf course. Not any one in particular, but it's that sort of, the sum of the parts is greater than sorry, I should say the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. That's, to my mind, what makes it the best golf course, not only in Ireland, but I play a lot of golf around the world. I still yet to find a golf course as good as here. Well, in terms of the course, we did a lot of changes, as you're probably aware, for the 2019 Open. 2 new holes and extended a few tee boxes and things like that. So for 2025, we've actually had to make very limited changes. And to the course, there are only 2 main ones. So the first green, we have brought a new pin position to the front of it. It's a 2-tier green. And normally the front tier is not really used very much for competition golf in the summer, because when the greens are running hard and fast, sometimes the ball can, you can put off the greens, so you can make people look a bit silly. So we've lifted the front of that by about 6 inches to create a more level pin position. And the reason we've done that is because the only way you can get at that pin from the fairway is by hitting a short iron, wedge or 9-iron. To get that far up the fairway means the professional golfer is going to have to hit a driver or 3-wood, depending on the wind, off the championship tee. That brings the out of bounds on either side more into play. So to my mind, it's going to be one of the most exciting opening hole pin positions in championship golf. So that's one change. The other change is we extended the par 4 4th hole by 25 yards. So that is now a 500-yard par 4 and just makes it even more challenging. So those are the only changes to the course that were required. In terms of what we learned in 2019 compared to what we're hoping to implement in 25, we only had one entrance for spectators to come in, which was down near our Rathmore Club. That created a bit of congestion and bottlenecks because of the size of the crowds. So in 2025, we're going to have 2 entrances, and that will make it much easier for people to get in and out. We're going to have 2 tented villages. We had 1 in 2019. We're going to have 2. And the main one is now going to be on the members' driving range, which is much more central to the whole estate here. It's just going to be much more accessible. And then the other change is we've made the hospitality areas larger. So there's going to be more space for people to be accommodated, more concessions, more hospitality, more big TVs, more areas for people to sit out. So I think from a spectator point of view, it's going to be much more enjoyable, easier to access, more hospitality, and I think with all of that just comes a much more enjoyable experience for the spectators, because we are expecting a bigger crowd, probably 10 to 15% larger than what we had in 2019. So it's an event which is growing, and from an economic point of view, it's just tremendous for this area. Well, the icing on the cake would be if we had another Irish winner, and I suppose everybody will be hoping that we can achieve that. Whether that's Rory, Shane, Darren, I understand it's probably going to be one of his last Opens, or indeed one of the up and coming players, the younger Irish players. So I think we're going to have a good representation from Irish golf. A winner from Ireland would be perfect. I think apart from that, it's just it's a whole carnival atmosphere. I think that this event brings. In 2019, because it was the first time the Open had been back here in 68 years, it brought the crowds out in masses. And there were people here who were steeped in golf to people who were just beginners in golf. There were people being pushed around in prams, there were whole families, and it was like a day out. So it was more than just an event for people who are golf fanatics to come to. It was an event to be experienced. And I think given the ticket sales that we have seen, There've been over 1 million applications for tickets, and clearly those cannot all be accommodated. Every day is sold out. So I think just that carnival atmosphere from having a large crowd and beautiful scenery, hopefully good weather, and capped off with an Irish winner, I think would just be an absolutely perfect event from our perspective. I would summarise it in one sentence: a great Irish welcome. And it's interesting looking at the applications for the tickets. There is a large proportion of overseas applications, particularly from places like North America and Europe. So those people, if they haven't been here before, they will experience the Irish welcome, which is, they will not only come to a great sporting event on a wonderful golf course, set in the most stunning scenery of the Causeway Coast. You have other features that they can go and visit. The Giant's Causeway, being one of the 7 wonders of the world, is only 2 miles away. You've got the great hospitality, restaurants, nightlife in Portrush, which is literally on our doorstep here. And the welcome that they will get just from the local community here will be all embracing. So it's a great place to come to visit, whether you're coming to see golf or whether you're just coming to holiday here. So adding that into the fact that we've got the biggest sporting event in our history in Ireland, I think it just makes for a perfect venue for people to come for the first time and experience the island of Ireland.